My father was declared dead in 1991, but his signature just appeared on documents dated 3 days ago. Alina was a meticulous paralegal. Order was her specialty. This attention to detail was exactly why the file caught her eye. It detailed a recent property transfer for the long-abandoned family cottage. The document was only 3 days old. The seller was clearly identified as her father, Gabriel. Gabriel had been declared officially dead in 1991. She knew the signature instantly, the aggressive, precise M that only he could write. This wasn't a mistake. This was a nightmare of the past resurfacing. For 25 years, she had carried the burden of his tragic disappearance. Her grief had been heavy, but now, her certainty was vaporized. The pain transformed into a cold, immediate focus. She began her quiet, unauthorized investigation. Her search quickly led to Robert, Gabriel's former business partner. Robert was transferring extremely large, erratic sums of money. The funds were moving into a very complex, offshore shell corporation. This specific structure was one Gabriel himself had engineered decades ago. It wasn't a victim being exploited. This was a willful betrayal. Gabriel had abandoned his wife and daughter, disappearing for secret, distant wealth. He hadn't been murdered. He had chosen greed. Alina's fury was now absolute, cold, and precise. Alina spent weeks dissecting Robert's financial transactions. The payment pattern was strange and entirely unpredictable, but she applied a specific numerical cipher, an obscure math game her father taught her. The chaotic numbers resolved into a series of date codes. This wasn't a salary, it was a desperate message. Gabriel was alive, yes, but he was calling for help. He was a captive. The realization deepened the plot. He chose abandonment, but Robert chose imprisonment. Robert was holding him to exploit his deep financial expertise. The ultimate goal was not the cottage, but a catastrophic, illegal scheme. Alina found the location. A remote, private research facility. Its single legal vulnerability was a failure to correct a mandatory biohazard compliance filing. This was the crack she needed. Using her knowledge of regulatory law, she secured a limited, specialized compliance officer warrant. She had earned her entry. It was the fruit of meticulous, expert planning. On the day of the inspection, she dressed impersonally, official, and rigid. Her audio-visual recording device was secured and active beneath her badge. She used the warrant's authority to demand access to the most isolated wing. She found Gabriel in a bare, windowless room. He was gaunt, but alive. He was surrounded by screens filled with Robert's massive, complex financial fraud projections. This was the false bottom. The property was a cover for a crime that spanned global markets. Robert was keeping him alive only until the scheme was fully operational. Alina stood before the father who left her, holding the nature trust agreement. The recording light was steadily blinking. "You chose money over your own name, Dad," she delivered, her voice devoid of emotion. "You set yourself up for this." She laid the clean document on the table. "Sign this now. Not for transfer, but to prove your identity and your current captivity." This documented proof was the final piece of her trap. Gabriel, his spirit broken by years of isolation, reached for the pen. Before the signature could be completed, the door violently crashed open. Robert stood there, eyes wide with furious panic. "Stop! The scheme! You can't let her record the details of the transfer," he screamed. Alina held up a hand, silencing the chaos. She spoke clearly into the hidden microphone. "It is too late, Robert. The compliance violation initiated an emergency contact with the FBI. The recording is live. It includes Gabriel confirming the exact structure of your fraud. The sirens are for you." The sound of police sirens, faint at first, swelled rapidly toward the facility. Robert's face was a mask of defeated, ruined greed. He was taken away, his colossal scheme dismantled by a single, recorded regulatory failure. Alina turned back to Gabriel, delivering the final, cold justice. "The cottage goes to the Nature Trust," she stated. "The one cause you once claimed was worth more than money. You won't profit from it, and you certainly won't destroy it." Gabriel was forced to cooperate fully with authorities, a crucial witness against Robert. He faced immediate legal consequences for the initial property fraud. For a man who abandoned his family for status and wealth, his punishment was absolute. He was stripped of his name, his financial status, and his freedom, condemned to live the rest of his life as a permanent informant, a faceless entity. Subscribe if you like.